Ulonkata bati yada tó yẹ kó máa da ifá. Inú tó yẹ kó jẹun ló fi bí pa. Ọba tálá, ọba takuntakun. Ṣàngó, Èṣù, Ògún, Ọya, Ọ̀ṣun. Ìwọ ló ń bọ̀ nílé. Kí ni ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ tán ṣe nílé yìí o? Ó jẹ́ lọ jára.
Alafia, peace and blessings, peace and blessings. Welcome to another episode of the African Spirituality Experience. I'm your host, Orisha Bemi, and today we're joined by none other than the distinguished community elder, the Oloye Baba Ifa Karade. Alafia, peace and blessings, Baba.
Alafia, my brother. Alafia, all good people out there. Okay. I'm feeling great. It's an honor to be here. All right, so let's get this thing moving. All right, people are anticipating; they're on the edge of their seats. All right.
Yes, sir.
What's up today?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, with that, my apologies, family, for the tardiness, man. The slight delay, having technical difficulties over here with my equipment. But as always, we're gonna fight through, push through, and we're gonna make it do what it do, babe. We're gonna make it do what it do. So with that, man, shout out to Alafia Agbo Ato and Kosi, Shy Goddess, the whole tribe, man. We appreciate y'all taking the time to join us. Shout out to all the new tribe members that's joined the community, that's joined the channel. Nothing but love, appreciation and respect. Shout out to Professor James Smalls. We had a phenomenal event. The Africa throughout the ages, African Spirituality Experience throughout the ages event, Sunday, February 16th in Jacksonville. Phenomenal event, man. Great feedback, a lot of love, and it was dope. And then also shout out to Brother Umar from St. Kofa 36720 Study Group for putting on a phenomenal event. And for all those who came out and for all the love, shout out to Baba Small. And also shout out to you, Baba, because listen, I met, shout out to all the tribe members who I met there, man. I can't remember everybody's name, but I met two sisters who came all the way down from Connecticut. And they was like, we love the channel, Like, man, listen, we love y'all. We appreciate y'all. And they was like, yeah. And the other elder that you be having on there, like, man, we love watching him because he be going in and he be teaching his butt off, but he keep it real. Like, he be going hard. I said, listen. I said, yeah, man. I said, Baba, boy. I said, Baba a straight hardcore revolutionary, man. He gonna call it for what it is, and he gonna say what it is, and he gonna make it do what it do, and it's gonna be what it be, and he don't care what nobody think about it. So I told him, I definitely, how did I say it? I think I said, I'm gonna make sure I give him your flowers because I know he gonna love receiving them flowers just as much as y'all love giving him his flowers. Shout out to y'all. I appreciate y'all. If y'all watching, much love. I appreciate y'all for being supportive. So with that, bye-bye. I'm ready to dive in this thing, man.
All right. Last thing I heard, you were going to talk a little bit about the event and some of the highlights that you pulled out. I'm all just going to, sound and resound on any moment that you, well, Baba, what do you think about this and that? Right. And then I'll go in on what I have,
Gotcha.
But I think people getting, into the deepness of what you put together, is very important, man. It's imperative that they see the hands, not just the face, but they see the hands that are working.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right. So what do you have for us, man?
Love, man. Love. That's definitely probably like the top of the list. It was so much love. It was kind of surreal to be honest, man, because that's definitely the biggest event that I've had or been a part of in regards to like hosting or being one of the speakers on the table or the ticket, what have you, since Ashe. And so it's like, I've had all kinds of experiences with my public speaking and, business consulting and doing keynote speeches and all that stuff. But it was like, this was different in so many different ways because this was something that was a direct result from, like you said, I feel like the fruits of the labor, the fruits of putting in the work, day in and day out, just consistently, doing the best that we could possibly do to bring out the best content that, you know, or put out and produce the best content that we could possibly put out. So it's like to be able to see and feel and like have the real life interaction, the real life and, you know, engagement, and the real life opportunity to have the energy exchange, that was different. It hit a lot different for me, being that Ashe is something that was built organically off of spirit and really just being obedient, you know, to spirit. And then I recall a part of the presentation where, you know, the brother Umar asked me to kind of, you know, take the mic and just do what it do. So what I did, man, we had us a Ashe, you know, town hall discussion, Jacksonville edition. You know what I mean? So, you know, because I like to get the crowd involved, whether we're doing it virtually or we're doing it in person. That's something that I've always been. I think that's always been one of my best tools as a speaker, as a public speaker, because when you're in front of a crowd, like for me personally, I can't speak for other people, but for me personally, my experiences of being in front of crowds and speaking to crowds, you want to make sure that that crowd is feeling what you're saying. You want to make sure that they picking up what you're putting down. You want to make sure that there's a real legit energy exchange that's going on, you know, between you and the crowd, just like we do here on the podcast. It's really no different in that aspect. But for me personally, in person, it is different because I feel like you can feel a person's energy. Like you can feel their energy, you know, whether it's negative, it's positive, or whatever the case may be. And I think to have that be a moment to where there was several different aspects where it was like surreal to me. I think one of the biggest things is like to be able to be a part of an event for a historical figure that I've been studying and watching their work for so many years. You know what I mean? Like it's one thing to be able to like, you know, interview him on the podcast, which is surreal. Same thing with you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that within itself will never get old to me. I don't care if we're doing this for 30 years. I'm still not going to not have that. Wow, this is happening. You know what I mean? So it's like, so to go from driving hours, I drove to Miami to see him. I've seen him here in Tampa. I've seen him. I can't remember where else I've seen him, but I've went a lot of different places, you know, and I was happy and proud just to be in the arena, but to be able to be working with him, you know what I mean? To be able to hand the mic to him, and you know what I'm saying? Like to open up with, you know, giving the prayer to the ancestors and to the great God in heaven. Like it was just so many surreal moments where it's like, man, like this is happening, you know, and it was profound for me. But I think that was all dope. I loved it all. But the fact that I can't tell you how many brothers and sisters pulled me to the side that was like how much Ashe is impacting them in their journeys. I think that was like something that you can't put a price on. Like there's not a check that could be written that will give me that sense of fulfillment and gratitude and humility, you know, to be able to make an impact for our people. And I spoke about during the time that I did speak, in regards to like addressing the crowd. I spoke about how Ashe came about, and that was literally based upon, you know, my trip to when I didn't know then of man, as luck would have it, or I should say, as E Ray would have it, to on my way to being OG Say Two. You know what I mean? Like going to, you know, Nigeria, going into the room, going to meet Orimila, you know, in the Igbodu, like all those things were all a part of like what was going on in my mind and my spirit as to like the feedback from the love and support that was given. And so for me, it goes back to that, and I'm gonna need you to please throw me an assist on this one. But it goes back to the dude we were just talking about the other day when the person who came to get Ifa or get divination, they was praising the Babalawo. The Babalawo was Ifa, and Ifa was praising Olumare. Like that was how I felt. It was like, because I appreciate all the love, but man, this is not happening without me being guided and being led, or dare I say, being obedient to the whispers and the wisdom of spirit and Ifa. So that's my sports center highlight of what this event was.
It's incredible, brother. You know, it's incredible. It's incredible. And what I dare say, hope. Okay, and I don't use that word very often. So let's consider this a great moment because I'm not much about hope. I'm about happening. Okay,
That's
but
it.
the greatest hope as a result of the happening is that those who are involved to whatever degree in Ifa Sheshe and any of the syncretisms, etc. Okay, have greater opportunities to see via the experience that you're sharing, via the work that you've done. Okay, and we said ekouche. Powerful. Okay, is that what is presented is more than what one has seen. What one comes to recognize is the movement of a people, our people, beyond the quote unquote spiritualization, beyond quote unquote the ritualization, beyond quote unquote the initiations, and all of the Asians except nation. And though perhaps small in comparison to an empire, to a civilization of a movement statement, all of those in attendance were creating a bond, a stream of consciousness that bespeaks what spirit is bringing to the material world, and not just spinning around in a spiritual complexity that is reenactment and regurgitation. Okay, what do we do with the spirit, as opposed to what is the spirit going to do to we? And that's what I take from the greatness that you brought about. And in addition, you bring that back to the community. You bring that to the Ashe channel. You bring that to the divinations that you do. You bring that to the Ashe tribe. You bring that to the Karaday Nation. You bring that to Ifa Isheshe. All of that energy and all of that goodness and positivity. And most importantly, and I say that with an IMO, okay, is that you bring what we see in one another. Oh, you're Shango, and oh, you're Obataline, oh, you're Oya, and oh, you're Shun. Okay, fine. But I am who I am. Okay. And if you remove that, or if you don't see that, and you don't assist me in the process of embracing the who I am, because now we're covered in layers and layers of what everything else says you are and what everybody else says you are, until, if not careful, we disappear right in front of our own very eyes. And with eyes open, we see nothing. And with eyes closed, we imagine that nothing really sees us. Okay. So, and concisely, Baba Orisha Bami, that's what I pick up, you know. That's the importance of the conferences. That's the importance of having elders there to speak, because as we've stated time and time again, that is a missing chunk from Ifa Isheshe. That is a missing chunk from the historical trauma inflicted upon us, the removal of our elders. The post-traumatic slave syndrome is still in effect. Okay? And what elders we can hold on to are still working through and have still worked through their traumas. Okay? Even though a percentage may have made it, quote unquote, but the greater percentage of us, that other 90 to 95%, of us still suffer from the missing pieces. So to have the elder come in and speak, that's another healing directive. So again, I say to you, OG say, okay, Baba Orisha Baby, Ekushe.
Appreciate you, Baba. Yeah, definitely
Yeah.
appreciate you, man. It was profound, like I said, to say the least. And and I love doing it, man. It's been a while, like I said, since I had that type of event or been a part of that type of event, and I forgot about how powerful and how good that energy exchange is. And for the tribe, everybody, the Ashe tribe, y'all will be getting some sneak peeks. I got some footage that I'll definitely be uploading in the community. Hopefully, it'll be up tonight. If not, definitely by tomorrow, as well as shout out to the OGU Institute. I didn't get a chance to put our last call up from last week, but I'll get that up as well, family. And then we got our call tomorrow night at 7 for the OGU Institute. So I'll definitely be sharing a lot more content in the channel, just getting back to a sense of normalcy, which it's been out of normal for like the last week or so, preparing for the trip and the traveling event. But it was dope, man. It was powerful. And I'm telling you, like, Baba, the just the true, sheer, genuine responses was mind blowing, in a positive way, because people really are tapped in. And shout out to my boy Oak. Just got on the phone with another brother here that lives here locally that we know, and he's on his journey, and we had a profound conversation as well. He was shouting you out too, man, because he was like, man, I checked the chat out. He's like, but man, I ain't know Baba, I ain't know he go hard like that. He was like, yo, he was like, man, he was like, that just took it to a whole nother level for me. He was like, because man, I feel him. He was like, and I can relate, because he has that similar spirit. So it was just like to be able to see and hear that from someone who has walked the walk and talked the talk and taught 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 the talk like that. That's something that it's different, and I feel like that's one of the things we're truly blessed with having with you and all the other elders. Shout out to Baba the Balogun Shango USA. Baba Ogun Tolu, everybody who kind of cleared the way and cleared the path for me. Shout out to HRM, Iyalode, Oshumbumi, Oshumbumi, like everybody, all of the elders and everybody who, have been here from day one till now that has poured into our, not just myself, but our community and our tribe, man. And I feel like that's literally what the separation factor is for us. The raw, real, authentic, transparent, just keeping it a buck, but also the priceless hundreds of years of wisdom that is also being transmitted, throughout these airwaves, because you got 40 plus, or Baba Tolu 40 plus, Baba Small, probably up there, 50. I don't know. He been putting their work, for a long time. Yeah. And so it's just like Professor Kaba, shout out to the Queen Mother, from the Moors, Baba Mukasa Dada. Like, we really had some very powerful forces come through here, and now to like get to chop it up with people in real time who really appreciate it, who really vibe with it, who rock with it. It really did kind of like give it a whole nother sense of appreciation. You know what I mean? Like, because people really do appreciate the realness. I think, and just being ourselves and just being who we are, and not giving no fluff, not, what I'm saying, not switching it up, putting on for the gram or whatever they call it. Like, we just keep it a buck and do what we do. And that's where, even you and I have had conversations off air about certain elements that we bring to the show, or that we bring on air, in regards to either quality control, or in regards to, like, elevating the professionalism and the brand. You know what I mean? All the talks that we've had, but every single one of them, we both has always been able to kind of come up with a very powerful, agreed upon, solution. And you know what I mean? And the seesaw is definitely tipped to your side, because in regards to having them solutions, but it is a real balancing act. And I do feel like that's where the magic happens, with the balance, as well as with, the raw and the real. So, with that, man, I give thanks. And Baba Small tore it down as I knew he would. So shout out to him again, and we're going to have the live stream replay up, family. The link is up now. You can grab that if you want to see it. Try it. We're going to have it. Y'all will have exclusive, sneak peeks. And then the full thing will be up hopefully by Friday is the goal. The editing takes some time, because I was working with 3 different cameras that I'll have to kind of splice together to get all the right angles and bring it together. So we're gonna make that happen as soon as possible. So with that, Baba, the topic was African spirituality throughout the ages, and he went around bringing from the Kemetic. He focused, I think, more so on Ifa than any others, but he hit a lot of the different spiritual practices. But one of the things I love the most is he also spoke about how significant the church was in our culture and how us and Ifa Sheshe, how we can do better with not throwing the baby out with the bathwater in regards to, bashing our brothers and sisters who are Christians or who are Muslims or, what I'm saying, like who are in a different faith system, because we don't do that here. But I know that there are, other people out there who do, and I get why they do. You know what I mean? I'm not going to get into, who's right, who's wrong, what's right, what's wrong. All I know is I love and respect anybody who show love and respect to me. I don't care who you pray to. I don't care who you sleep with. As long as you show me love and respect, I'm gonna show you love and respect, and that's how I prefer to roll. So, and I think that's where we also create a safe space for people of different backgrounds and different, walks of life as well here, because we do speak vocally on that. And there's several brothers and sisters on the channel who are Christians or were Christians or came to E5 and went back to Christianity. I've seen it in the comments and we've addressed it on the air as well. So it's like there's so many different dynamics to this thing that we call African spirituality. But at the same time, for me, it's always been about love and respect. I feel like I can get along and rock with anybody as long as we got, we at peace and we got, love and respect for one another. So what does African spirituality throughout the ages mean to you?
Well,
Baba.
yeah, I just want to say this in response to uh, the insight that you shared. I think sometimes we go hard against others because that's how we've been taught to respond to others. We come up in a system, in a society that says, you're the other. So therefore, once we step beyond that and embrace more of a unifying outlook, it becomes much easier. And one would hope, well, I don't know what's going on with me and this hope thing today, but hope is good, I guess. One would hope, and then in the process turn hope into happening.
I like that.
Involvement with our people and becoming more aware of the historical challenges that occurred. See, too many of us are still under very deep and misconceived notions about how things came to be. How did our ancestors become Christian? Becomes more a matter of concern than if they're Christian or not. Okay. How were they able to survive because of Christianity to a greater degree than if they did not? Okay. Because of course it wasn't 100%. Tulsa was burned down. Rosewood was burnt down. All those folks up there, a church was bombed with little kids in it. So it wasn't about, okay, we just gave up, our African ways, and more specifically, Ifa Sheshe. It was tortured and beaten out of us. And no matter how it's made to look, with what we call educational paternalism, okay? Oh, we saved you kind of energy and attitude, or we brought Christianity and civilization and commerce to you, which is the continual story that we continually hear, the continual images that we are continually bombarded with, until no matter how our ancestral genetic structure rages against it, we come to accept it. And the more we think about it, the more troubled we become, and we lash out, you know. And I think that that's a deep part of why we lash out. It's because we cannot resolve it within ourselves. So we will lash out at the brother and sister and even the elders who are Christian or Muslims, because we're still struggling to find the peace within ourselves, even with Ifa and Isheshe. Now, I just tell people I don't deal with it. I'm not down with the syncretism. I haven't been down with it from day one, and I will never be down with it. Okay? But that's me. That doesn't mean that I have to go hard against you, you know? It's not a militaristic takeover kind of thing. I know why you're doing what you do. I know how it came about. And I know why you continue to do what it do. And all I have to say is, well, on that side of the river, that's what you do. Be you Christian oriented, Muslim oriented, Buddhist or whatever, you know, but that's you. And if that's where you find peace, then fine. But I'm not raging against, oh, well, you know, why do I still have these Christian thoughts and da 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 da. So now I have to become more of a traumatized individual who's causing trauma in the world. The trauma ceases here. Okay? To find peace within, and you'll see the peace in others, even though those same people will still bash us. Oh, that's hoodoo, that's voodoo. Are you okay? You going insane? You know, why are you getting involved with that? That's that African stuff. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, okay, well, if you want me to find peace with you, and I need to find peace within myself, the only person who doesn't seem to be at peace is you. Why are you bashing me? Why are you looking down? Because you have no idea of how these religions, and I use the term loosely, have become a part of your psychotraumatic experience, to the point where, as socially engineered, you have no other recourse. Okay. So again, all of this as classes evolve, but just to kind of, you know, highlight Baba Risha Bami, the insight that you shared. Because again, all the time, it's not us bashing others, it's others bashing us. And now, okay, it's like, you know, we're going to war. And I'm saying we don't have to. We don't have to. Okay. We really, really don't. But somebody got to be the grown up in the room. Okay.
That part. Yes, sir. That part.
You know, somebody got, we're doing all this to evolve ourselves and to transcend, not being Christian or not being Muslim, but to be authentic, as I heard you, you know, refer to. This is who we are. This is what we do. This is the way that we found. And we can do, you know, cross-referencing and you know, we can see where you are in us. And I see that you're trying to see where we are in you. You know, you're doing Kwanzaa's in the church. You understand what I'm saying? You know, you're trying to bring some kind of Africana, you know, study into your realm, but it's not changing your belief. And nobody's really asking you to change your belief. That's going to come on its own or not, you know. But don't try to pressure me into changing my destiny, my spiritual directive, you know. But so just saying that. Now, when we talk about African spirituality and kind of branching off from the statement that we had, I'm going to read this quote, and then I'm gonna get a little bit into Imoye. Now I'm going to read this quote based on what you put together and experienced a few days ago with the monumental conference that you had. Because again, people need to see that we exist beyond the initiations, and we are again, and we exist beyond the Orisha. We do. They're just portals to understanding self, not dismissing self, which is kind of, again, very Catholic. Just don't be. It's going to be other divinities and entities that will make a way for you, and that is something that I personally feel as though needs to be rethought. Okay, so again, your Yemoja, okay, all of that, but that's just a portal. That's just a portal, all into assisting you find your authentic self, because ultimately you are your Ori. And that's why it's called Orisha and not Yemoja Sha or Shango Sha or Obatala Sha. It's called Orisha because it's your Ori, right? And those entities, okay, are there to assist in the transcendence of you to that ultimate understanding. Okay. But going back to you, and again, homage to Professor James Small, okay, whom I've known for quite some time. Okay?
Yes, look, you know what's funny? We talked about you again Friday night, because he got there. No, I'm sorry. We both got there Saturday. Initially, we were supposed to get there.
He's my brother.
Yeah, man. It was all love. Like I said, and I'll tell him the same thing I tell you. It's still so real to me, to be able to talk to both of y'all, to work with you, man. It's a dream come true.
I'm just going on a quick commercial break here. It would be like, I know you kind of planted this seed about a conference where you had 2 or 3 of us.
Listen. Yes,
and we would just have the panel. We go old school. We the panel, such and such, Professor Smalls, Professor Carradine, people would be like losing their minds. They'd be like, "Oh, we're gonna make this happen."
Listen.
Yes,
all right,
sir. In the commercial. All right. So here we go. In gratitude, for the work that you're doing, and for rebuilding the eldership in Ifa Ishesha. Okay. Any religion that professes to be concerned about the souls of men and is not concerned about the slums that damn them, the economic conditions that strangle them, and the social conditions that cripple them is a spiritually moribund religion awaiting burial. When I came across this quote, I was surprised, but not surprised that it was from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. But what hit me so hard, and I posted on my Facebook page under the Carradine Nation, is that goes for Ifa, Isheshe, Yoruba, Orisha, whatever term your Ile or house decides that it wants to utilize. But we're searching for greater truths here. Okay. And to have conferences and to develop classes and to bring in the psychological dimension of Ori, to bring in the philosophical dimension of Ifa, to bring in cultural context, so that we're just not believing again in what we're told, but we start to believe in what we've come to understand. Okay? Based on dialogue, based on interaction, based on, again, the conference, based on the institute, based on the books and the wealth of knowledge that's out there. You see? No cultural context, no philosophical directive. Okay? no psychological journeying. What about the mindset? Are we just to lose ourselves? Okay. No building. Okay. Virtually nor concretely. And so the question has always been at the back of my mind, okay, then what are we doing? I mean, literally, what are we doing? The longer I've been back, as the prodigal Babalao, if you will, the more I'm seeing that our people aren't learning. The cultural context is weaker than it was back in the 90s. The philosophical, what does that have to do with religion? Well, that sounds mighty Catholic. It doesn't really sound, from the Oyo Empire or the Benin Empire. It doesn't sound like we actually came from somewhere, And again, the lack of teaching, it's incredible. We're becoming less the more we get into it. And to me, that's problematic, because then that leads to, again, going on belief. And every time that belief is challenged, we get stronger into our belief until we are just walking around like so many who simply rely on what they believe in, although there's no substantiation. There's really no cultural context. There's no historical relevance outside of what they're being told, not realizing that those stories have changed over time, okay, for hundreds, if not thousands of years. And that's a fact. That cannot be argued nor debated. Anybody reading the Bible telling me, "Oh, that's the word of God, and that's what came down," and I'm like, you're delusional. You know how many times the Judaic people have changed that, and how many times rewritten, and then Constantine, 325 AD, Anno Domini, got his crew together, and then and then got the King James Version. But you're telling me that that's that, and the same goes for all of it. For all of it. But we tend to use belief as a shield against working on self and expanding consciousness. Expanding consciousness. Okay? Because we're warped in, I'm going to say it, exploitative imprisonment. Either we're going to exploit, or we feel as though we're going to be exploited. Okay? And that's the problem, Ifa and Isheshe. And I even brought up the last podcast when this whole thing about Ifa Tuntun's coming out, how exploitation and corruption in Ifa and Isheshe is at an all-time high. People getting initiated, paying all that money, and not learning anything. And as I stated, initiation does not make you spiritual. Okay? Now, back to Baba Rishabemi and the conference, it's like, because the conference starts to show that we're going to make changes where changes need to be made. What's the sense of having everybody all, making their bows and running around, stuff like that? And we got, mass incarceration. We got mass miseducation. Okay. Oh, but we're spiritual and we believe in, the Orisha, and we believe, yeah, you may believe in all of that, but your belief is unfounded. Because you've been taught to believe in the word, feeling that the word is sacred, but the word is just really somebody's interpretation, or dare I say misinterpretation, because they're based on exploitative agendas. Okay.
That part.
And that's just how it is. We here, right now, we here now to say that Ifa and Isheshe has to be a revolutionary statement. A revolutionary statement. And in the word revolution, there's the word evolve. Okay. We have to evolve ourselves out of the plight, out of the mud, if you will, and arise like a lotus flower. Okay. To say that, okay, we've been through that, but so has everyone else on the planet. See, we don't have a global perspective. So our spirituality is warped by the lack of knowledge. Our people are not dying of thirst, as the quote says. Our people are dying from the lack of knowledge. If you don't have knowledge, then how are you going to have wisdom? And if you don't have elders to pass on any given particular type of wisdom from any religious road, then you just have a bunch of people who are just, I get my 1,000 divination and make my 1,000 ebo and then go through this. Now, mind you, I'm not saying that all of that is like something that I'm going to war against, but it's what I'm seeing. And from what I'm hearing, there's a whole lot of other people who are seeing it too. And I'm from the position of, I'm not waiting for anybody to do anything about it. When I'm sitting right here, when I'm standing right here, okay, when I am right here, okay. Like I tell all of my students, I'm not. No, we don't follow curriculums. We don't follow the AIs and all that kind of stuff, because we're not followers. We're leaders. And all leaders can walk together. And that doesn't mean that any of them are following anything except their destiny and their road to evolving self and people and humanity. Okay? We're missing that in Ifani Sheshe. We're missing that in African spirituality. We are. Let's face it. Okay? But understanding why, back to that, understanding why, understanding how it happened, and understanding why it continues to happen. No? Exorbitant amounts of money to, make priesthood and all that kind of thing. And it's like, if that is spirituality, then somebody needs to, take another look. Okay? Just take another look. You're grown, you're gonna make your decision. And I'm not trying to tell you what to do up in here. But I suggest you take another look and see what you're putting out and kind of gauge what you're getting back. Okay. But again, we have to have people who are willing to go where Ifa is needed. Okay. Into the slums. Okay. As stated by Dr. King, I'm putting in quotes, but we're talking about the hood. All right. And face the conditions, the economic conditions, and the social conditions. Okay. If we aren't willing to do that, then what is our spirituality for? Oh, I just want to walk through nature. Oh, I just want to feel the breeze. Okay, I just want to be a child of God. I don't want to be a God child or a God mother or a God this or a God that. I've heard everything except I want to be my God. I want to be God. Okay. I want to be God. And why can't I be? Everything outside of me is God. Again, Godmother, Godfather, God this, God that, God that. Okay. And even the Orisha become, the gods. But again, why can't it be, I'm the God? I'm the God. Treat me like I'm the God. Negotiate with me like I'm the God. Okay. Because see, where I come from, that's spirituality. Okay. And throughout the ages, now kind of flipping back, to the title of the topic, that's what I have come to understand was the way that we looked at our African spirituality.
I see.
Okay. And that may have been, the way that we evolved. Okay. Now, when we get in terms, into the world of today and the type of education we have, again, the paternalism, educational paternalism, okay, that's a powerful term. And so we're taught that it's all out there. And yes, there is a lot out there, but there's a lot in here too. We have trillions of cells. We're 97% space. We have the capacity to do quote unquote superhuman things. Okay. But because it's an exploitative system, and because it's a control system, something that you brought up last podcast, Baba Orisha Bami, the control system, we are thrown out of the ages. Okay. Now, I'd like everyone to take a gander at this book right here, right now. All right. Imoye. Now, I'm just going to take a couple of passages from, as you see, written by Bobby Ifa Day, okay, where I'm hit a few points because we cannot separate, again, spirituality from context, from psychology, from philosophy. And if we do separate it from those contexts or conceptualizations, it is because that's how we've been taught to think. That is a Western style of thinking. Western, injected into us, enforced upon us, rewarded when we follow it, punished when we don't. Okay. So there's reasons why we look at our spirituality throughout the ages. But my concern is not so much that the spirituality is or is not there, but our perception, our perceiving, our mindset, our analyzation, our examining of it. And this is where all the problems start to rear their heads. Okay. We can't keep thinking the way we're thinking about who we are and where we come from and claim to be, I'm into Ifa Isheshe, but I don't really know anything about anything really, I just want to, get possessed in any way, shape, or form. And I just want to, extend my belief, not my knowledge, my belief, not my understanding, my belief, not my wisdom, but my belief. Car with no tires and no engine. Yeah, it might look pretty, going nowhere fast, as we used to say. You're going nowhere fast, boy. You know what I mean? Okay. Now, I want us to kind of take a little trip in a Wayback Machine. All right. And let's look at maybe 3 million years ago. 3 million years ago. Okay. There are findings in Nigeria in the prehistoric eras. The research in the fields of archaeology, anthropology, and ethnology have given us evidence at various levels of development there are people, us, inhabiting the Western regions up to 3 million years ago. Okay. Homo sapiens sapiens were very active in the Nigerian region during the Stone Ages. Now, okay, Baba Rishabemi, can you take that down, please?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. There have been a number of studies and excavations that show that we were actually there, going back at least 3 million years ago. Now, as time goes on, we find in Nigeria, we have the Majiro Cave in Old Oyo, Afrikpo and Imo State, and also Iwo Ileru in present Ondo State, which prove beyond a doubt that hominids and prehistoric human beings were inhabiting and adapting to that specific environment. In Iwo Ileru, scientists have unearthed skeletons, burial chambers, etc., dated circa 14,000 BC. Okay. Now, I'm just going to stop there. I'm trying to let those dates sink in. 3 million years ago. Okay. 14,000 years ago. Okay. Oh, and it gets better as the thousands of years progress. But the point is, how many times have you seen us during those time periods? The point being, when we think of, as we've been taught to think of prehistoric man, interestingly enough, okay, what's the first image that comes to our mind? Okay, basically Neanderthal, let's just face it, okay? And basically not looking like you nor I. If we can't accept how we've evolved as human beings, then it is very difficult to accept how our spirituality has evolved. You understand where I'm coming from? Because we lack the context. We can't even see ourselves being that ancient, being that old. Okay? The furthest most of us can go back, let's face it, is probably 1300 AD. You know, Ghana, Mali, Songhai, okay? All greatly impacted by Islam, by the way. All right? Some of us have gone back a little further into the Oyo empires, the Benin empires, okay? Zimbabwe. Some of us have gone back even further to Nubia, okay? Kemet.
Kush.
The Kushites, yes.
Mesopotamia. I guess it depends on how deep your studies have took you.
Exactly. However, we don't see the images. We can't follow the spiritual growth of us because we can't follow the historical, the philosophical, and religious context of us. Say like we could follow if we were doing Greco-Roman, where we have noted philosophers, Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, you know what I mean? We start to be able to name it. Greek gods, got sneakers, Nike was the Greek god of victory. You understand? So the planets are named after them. So we're always immersed in Westernization and the history, philosophy, mythology, and every contextual reality. Okay. Even movies, gladiators, and all that kind of thing. You know, we're continually bombarded. And so their world is continually a part of our existence, even the language that we speak. Okay. Now let's flip the script. Okay. And we start to study more intensely and intently what we were doing. And we start, recreating the images, and we start redesigning the educational system and structure that puts an emphasis not on us as, the noble savage motif, which is very, very harmful, and not the missionary, okay, projection. Basically, we see more pictures of us impoverished, ill-clothed, and unknowing, because we're trying to adapt to a very, very, hostile environment, and we're under the whip, literally. But so you can take that snapshot and say, oh, look at how they are. But as Zora Neale Hurston points out in Bao Kun, when she interviews the elder, okay, who states that, again, they took the clothes off of us and then told the world that we were naked savages. Right? So what we will continue to study or put emphasis on is not what they said about us, but what we come to research by getting the firsthand accounts of those who've traveled, okay, and the historians who really went in to paint the picture of what life was like for us prior to the invasion. Okay. Okay. The other part that I wanted to add in is the Nok people, N-O-K. Okay, the Nok people. The Nok people were, as one might say, the first kind of rise of civilization there within what is now the Nigerian region and beyond. Professor Molefi Kete Asante, those of you for the old school may remember him. I knew him personally, did panels and conferences like Temple University, right there in Philadelphia. States in his lecture on the African and African contributions in art, talks about Nok art is best represented by the terracotta sculptures of this civilization, often compared to the works of Kemet and Nubia. Now, all of this is happening in the Western region. Okay. No slight against, the whole Cometan drive, but again, we're kind of, we're not even throwing the baby out with the wash. We're just walking over the baby. Okay.
Baba, can I chime in for just a quick second?
Yeah, no, take your time, brother.
So shout out to listen. The chat is going ham. You hear me? Like they going ham in there, man. Like I had to tell. I think it was T and Shy both made some profound, powerful statements. They was going back and forth. And then Kosi just dropped. He didn't drop the damn nuke. Because he talked about history and like how deep and how far this goes, right? So
yeah.
So I'm gonna go with Nkosi's, and then I'll go back to Shy and T's because I want to get your perspective on theirs. But Nkosi shared the fact that in fact, I'll just bring the comments back up now. But we were talking about like the first one was in fact the first one that Nkosi dropped was now he sees why you call on us to have a global perspectives. And I like that part, you know what I mean? So, but that's real. And then also he mentioned Nap the Playa. So now Nap the Playa, and Kosi going way deep now, boy. So when he said that, I'm like, yo, I got the book on that. So the book, right, is called The Origin Map. And The Origin Map is a book about Nap the Playa, and it breaks down the discovery of prehistoric megalithic astrological maps and sculptures of the universe that they found, you know what I'm saying, in Africa. So, and mind you now, And this is funny because this topic came up during the Q&A session with Baba Small on Sunday, where it was a brother. I can't remember his name. I want to say his name was Dalo. If he's watching the channel, shout out to the brother Dalo. But basically, it was along the lines of, the question was somewhere along the lines of authors or researchers who happen to be European, but who have contributed some very, very powerful works to bringing truth to light about the true history of the true oldest people in, you know what I'm saying, of cultures of this planet, right? And so it was dope. It was a great exchange between the two of them. And I'm just sitting there like, okay, like it was going in. But I say all that to say that I own several books that were written by several European scholars, but they're speaking and teaching real life, true history through research, through, you know what I'm saying? Like they did due diligence, like they did dope work. And I got to give credit to, the dude Thomas Brophy, because he's breaking down our history, but he's giving it from a true perspective for what it is scientifically, you know what I mean? And not trying to put the curve on it. Kind of like what we see with a lot of these alien shows. It seems like 99.9% of all the commentators and all the researchers and all the people who are in these current documentaries all seem to be of European descent. However, I haven't seen a lot of the ones that make it to the mainstream, that has a lot of us in it. But these particular authors and researchers, they did it the right way because they did it from an unbiased perspective. I feel like they did it for the true sense of doing scholarly work. And that's what the origin map is. It's a powerful piece of work. I salute the dude because he keeping it real, but he's sharing real, powerful, impactful, historical and astrological, information on behalf of just sharing truth for truth. You know what I mean? So I gotta, salute that and respect that. But it's a very powerful book, very, very powerful book that goes back into showing how there was several different monuments that kind of like, I wouldn't even say like Stonehenge, because Stonehenge is like not the ply, but it was a Stonehenge-esque, you know what I mean, layout of rock formations that were in alignment with the heavens. Like just like how ancient Kemet, like, I know those stars, like the 3 stars of Orion's belt, all align with the 3 major pyramids, in ancient Kemet, which is Khufu, Khafre, and Menkaure. Khufu, Khafre, and Menkaure all align with Alnitak, Alnilam, and Mintaka. Those are the 3 main stars of Orion's belt. And then right behind those 3 stars, you have Sirius, which is the brightest star in the sky. So it's like those are we're going way back now. Now you're going back into like the Dogon era and the Nomos, and you know what I mean? Like we're going back. But it's just cool to see how deep, the tribe going in the comments about, about all the information that's being shared. So yeah, they going in.
Yeah, and we need to go in because there's no other way we're gonna get in.
That's fact.
We need to go.
Yes, sir.
There's everything that doesn't want us to go in. There's everything about, again, the educational system, the religious system, the way that we think, the way that we perceive, that is negating the going in process. Okay. We don't have enough pictures. We don't have enough discussions. We don't have enough of the inclusion of this, of which we're speaking, in Ifa and Isheshe. And I find that troubling, to be honest with you. Okay. It's like we just keep hiding behind spirituality. Again, the belief is a force field that keeps us from facing truth, that keeps us from facing reality. And we'll just, give truth to whatever somebody basically tells us it's true. And it's like, no, it need not be that way. Okay. Because we find a necessity to walk in our own truth together. Okay. Now back to the Nok people, because and I truly I embrace what was just discussed, yourself and Kosi. Right. In addition, okay, we have the Nok culture radio carbon dating back 3,500 BC to 2000 BC. And then they kind of eased up a bit, and then they rearose with their civilizations from 900 BC to AD 200. We know nothing about them. We know nothing about them. Not that there's nothing to be known about them. It's just that we don't know. Okay. Because they're circumvented by what has become prioritized. Okay. But we're leaving a great part of our heritage behind. You know, we are. And how can we discuss our spirituality? Because at the base level, the Nok people were there. And from them sprang the different peoples, but not only in a physical sense, you know, in terms of generations, children, but also thought and spirituality. Okay. And I'm encouraging people because, see, if I just sat here and told you, that would be the same kind of pastoring or professoring that we are, you know, kind of what's called a cognitive complacency or cognitive comfort.
Yes,
I'm suggesting, based on the podcast, based on what I'm putting out there, that you do some research. Be it Google or be it scrolling through wherever to get a book, be it revisiting books, but see, just sitting and listening and, oh, this is so nice. And, oh, you know, we really, you know, getting something, but that doesn't mean that you're learning. And it doesn't mean that you're being transformed by it. You know, it just means that, okay, church is over or the masjid is done. And we're just going to go on being followers. That is not what I'm looking for. And Baba Orisha Bami wouldn't even have me around if that's what he was looking for, you know. So what we're doing is we're looking for people who are going to, you know, pick up, okay, Ifa Isheshe, and then bring about change, social conditions, change, impoverished in the impoverishment of our people. Change in the miseducation of our people. That becomes spirit in matter. That becomes what matters.
And Shy and Kosi, where everybody's shopping up, especially in regards to like with the pyramids and ancient Kemet. But with the origin map, I think I'm not sure who made that comment, T, but that you definitely want to check that out because and Kosi made the comment, don't forget about the pyramids in West Africa. There are pyramids all over the globe, family, like literally all over the globe, from the surface of the globe to underwater to the Americas. And I'm sure everybody knows about the pyramids in South America. We got the Pyramid of the Sun, the Pyramid of the Moon, in Tiahuanaco, Mexico. We got a lot of different pyramids all across the globe. But I'm gonna tell you right now, like there are a lot of pyramids here in America that people don't know about. If you want to look up and Google the Cahokia Mounds right there in Illinois, is one of the largest pyramids out there. Actually, the Cahokia Mounds, when you look at the sheer circumference of the base of the Cahokia Mounds, they are actually in measurement in being considered some of the largest pyramids on the, I want to say on the planet, if I'm not mistaken, that had been discovered and unearthed that people actually have record of. And then if we really want to go deep, you know, we got the pyramid that's up there, or pyramids that's up, you know, or I should say down in Antarctica. Antarctica has, I think that one surfaced, I can't remember what year they showed the images of the pyramids in Antarctica, but it was not that long ago that particular pyramid made a mainstream splash in regards to those who were in the metaphysics / extraterrestrial alien space in regards to information. And so there's a lot more, like Transformers. There's a lot more that meets the eyes when it comes to the pyramids, and that's something that I got a lot more experience and knowledge and research under my belt with metaphysics and ancient Kemet and the ancient civilizations than Ifa and Isheshe, because I've been studying that space since I was like 13, 14 years old. And then being a student of Dr. York, if anyone who is a student of Dr. York, I'm pretty sure like your bandwidth in regards to talking about astrology, astronomy, different planetary systems, different pyramids, different beings, different extraterrestrials, or even those who may be students of Dr. Delbert Blair as well. And if you want to check out Dr. Blair's work, you can visit the Meta Center on YouTube. And his work is still being uplifted and being, reverenced and venerated by, Tony Vortex is who his predecessor or who his mentee is. And Tony was working with Dr. Blair from the time I first got exposed to Dr. Blair's work. But Dr. Blair also has a wealth of knowledge and information on all things metaphysics, as well as all things, excuse me, that have to do with like extraterrestrial life forms and a lot of different star systems and beings and things of that nature. So that's something that I'm definitely looking forward to bringing to the channel family, because I definitely see that there's a huge interest in regards to that topic, and especially where we're at now, because there's a lot of different things going on in regards to what we're seeing with the extraterrestrials or the crafts and things like that, the sightings, because there are a lot of there's a lot of things that's going on where I feel like some of it is real, and I feel like some of it is fake, or not necessarily fake, but it's made by the government, you know what I mean, or made by just different entities out there who want to kind of control and manipulate the minds of the people. And so, if you look up Project Blue Beam and you look up, there's multiple other CERN, and there's all kind of different things that they have kind of created to where, I feel like there's going to be a point in time where there is going to be a global, I would say, revelation in regards to some of the beings that are actually here. And what I feel like the dark energies or dark entities are trying to do is they're trying to F with our minds to get it to the point where we can't tell what is real and what is fake. And dare I say, that's kind of like what happened with religion, because the Bible that they had used and took and revamped and rewrote and remixed to create, what I call now the weapon of mass destruction, was ultimately a very powerful piece of work that was founded in Ethiopia, if I'm not mistaken, Baba, the first Bible, I can't remember where it was, but I know you told me. But
no, actually the Greeks brought it into Ethiopia.
Got you. But
yeah, the first Bible was basically written in Greek. But it traveled in a pure form. I would dare say, because there were some deep people who were translating and bringing together, but then the Coptics, as far as the Ethiopians, and then of course now we're rolling around to the Romans, who just basically destroyed it, in their global, megalomania. You know what I mean? They're just going to control the world.
It's a lot. It's a lot. Nah, I just was driving in on those comments while you was off, but you can go ahead and jump right back in, man.
All right. So I'm gonna we're talking about faith factors and systems directly plugged into Ifa Isheshe. Okay. And again, this is all more material for classes and of course the institute. Yes, all right. Okay, Ara, the hill where the Orisha first descended. So when we start looking at the various Odus in terms of the earth being created, getting into that, again, that quote unquote religious kind of context. Okara Ogunda, the earth is created and inhabited by Rumila and the 16 Odu. Oludumare sent forth the 400 plus one Irumoles or Orisha. Okay. Okanran Ogunda is the Odu where this world was created. Ofun Okanran, Oludumare was preparing to send people to Earth. The Creator began to reflect on the vision of how the more powerful people would inflict punishment on the weak. Okay. Otura Meiji, the Creator speaks to Orunmila. Let us make humankind in our image. The world is created. The Orisha bring forth evolution. Okay. And it goes on. But this is probably my favorite, and it's E.D.O. Warren. The source of our existence is comprised of our father, mother, head, and generative organs. The combination is known in totality as Isheshe. It is the sheshe that we must first propitiate before we venture to placate any Orisha. This is the Odu speaking, E.D.O. Warren. Okay. Ramification of this directive within the religious and philosophical structure of Ifa or Great. ... All right. Things that we'll cover, more deeply in our classes and in the institute. But going back to the 5 hills, if you will. Okay, Ara, the hill where the Orisha first descend upon. Okay, Igete, the original home settlement of Orumila. Okay. Okay, Itashe, the home and center of Orumila's teachings. Okay, Isokun, the first settlement of Obatala. Okay, Imogun, the first home and settlement of Ogun. Prehistoric data speaks of this area of Ife, which was not just a city, but a vast territory at the time. Artifacts from the late Stone Age dating back 15,000 to 5,000 BC. Human remains have been found going back to 8,000 BC. Okay. From 350 BC to AD 500, people from various locales on the continent of Africa were migrating to Ile Ife in steady progressive waves. Now, of course, the stories continue. The historical data is there, okay? But we tend, because that's how we were taught, is to separate the historical from the spiritual. And I kind of share this experience, perhaps one time too many, but I can remember going to various conferences, and this one was in upstate New York, okay? And this was, again, back in the 90s. And I'm going on, I'm into my bag. I'm like, yo, this is this. We need to have historical context. We need to go through conceptualization. We need to cross-reference. We need to have a global perspective. Okay, this is what I'm working on perfecting. This is what I'm working at being a master teacher of. Okay. And many people, in the audiences at the time were basically telling me that they didn't want to hear that. And I'm like, I'm not surprised. Okay. But for the sake of conversation, why? Why don't you want to hear it? Tell me. Since you're telling me you don't want to hear it, then tell me why. Now, meanwhile, I'm on stage. I'm behind the podium, or I'm walking back and forth with, the screen in the back, and people are like, okay, well, Baba, Ifakara, we're having a little difficulty with this because we've already separated the historical relevance from the religious practice. Okay. And from our religious practice, we're deeming ourselves African-based religions, regardless of the syncretism. Because you're still calling Orisha, you're still with the Patakis, the / Odus, or Odu / Patakis, okay? And you're still, pulling from that experience of my people, okay, who are in part your people, but you got the Spanish and you got the Portuguese thing happening. I get it. And you definitely got the Catholic thing happening, as a conquered nation of people, okay, or a conquering nation of people. Sometimes it's difficult to tell the difference between the two. But at any rate, why don't you want to hear it? Well, because the separation already been made. Well, what does all this have to do with religion? Well, it has everything to do with religion. Everything to do with it. And how can we, again, talk about spirituality throughout the ages if we don't talk about the people who were evolving the spirituality throughout the ages? If we don't talk about where we come from and where we come from comes from. Okay, so it's imperative. It's not a choice. It's not a well, what do you want for dessert kind of thing. And meanwhile, we're just blindly going about. Oh well, this is this and that is that and all of that. And every time it's challenged, here we go, right behind our belief, not our knowledge, not our understanding, not our wisdom, but our belief. Okay, but that has nothing to do with it. Well, it may have nothing to do with it in your world because you've already stated in your out your syncretism that heaven is the white way, and doing all the spooky stuff and getting all involved in Orisha, that's not the way to heaven. That's not the way to your salvation. You've made that quite clear. So I question, can it then be a religion? Okay, because understanding how it came to be, I get it. But for you to, make it known throughout the conference, when people come up and ask their questions or whatever, that you don't feel as though it's important. Well, you weren't the one called on to, present at the conference, because if you were, then you would be up here giving your insight or lack thereof. Okay. So let's start with that. I'm the elder here. I'm the one up here. And so whether you want to listen to me or not, there's options. Okay. One of them is the door. But the whole thing is, I'm trying to get you to understand why you don't want to do the work. My people, we can't say we're into African spirituality like that's some blanket statement. You know how many people live in Africa, from back then to now? Even that is a Eurocentric, containment of vastness. It's like the students having my classes. Where you from, brother? Oh, I'm from Africa. I'm like, can you be a little bit more specific? In any mixed situation, in terms of people, and you got Europeans sitting in there. Okay, where you from? I'm from France, or I'm from England. But you look at people, I'm from Africa. And then we have that whole concept. It's African spirit. It is, but then it isn't, because you have so many different people and so many different cultures and so many, ways of translating spirit and interpreting spirit. Duality, that sometimes it's so overwhelming that it just becomes, again, a blanket statement. Okay, so we have African spirituality throughout the ages, but as you see, I focus more on the Ifa Isheshe, okay, Baba Orisha Bami, chiming in with Nkosi, the pyramidal structures and all of that that's happening. Yes, so what we do is we combine them, but we recognize that each can stand or has stood on its own. And there are correspondences, like Baba Risha Bemi's say working on Ma'at and Ifa. Okay, I did correlating studies between some of Ifa in the handbook, and some biblical and some Quranic and some Buddhist or Asian kind of studies. So the correlations are there. But when we go into these elays and these houses, and there's none of it being discussed, none, zero, I find that troubling. I find that troubling. And no one can say, oh, well, that's the way with all religions, because that's not true. That Bible is full of historical references, be they exaggerated or not. That Quran is full of historical references, be they exaggerated or not. The Odu is full of historical references. But mostly folks just tell you, oh, well, you know, you need to do this for Shango, or you need to do this. There's no context to even the Odu when it comes down to references. And that brings me to this. There was a statement that I came across from 1824. Clapton and one of his boys, they were exploring their English, and he wrote down in his journal how the Oyo Empire looked to him, and it was amazing. He talked about how well dressed we were, how well organized we were, okay, how royal we were. And I don't think he wasn't exaggerating. You know, he wasn't trying to sell anything. There was nothing to sell, but it was a first-hand account. Okay, and the same with Ibn Battuta. Okay, see, we getting our hands on these first-hand accounts, it was going to help us to change our perception and our perspective, and then we can talk more deeply about spirituality. Because I don't feel that we can reach our spirituality blindly. You know, that we can just keep saying we're spiritual, and at some point we're just going to magically become spiritual, miraculously become spiritual. It's just like people who think meditation is just emptying the mind. Oh, I'm not going to think about anything. I'm meditating. Well, no, that's not meditation. That's mindlessness. You know, the meditation that we practice is holding that object in the mind until it bursts into other realms of conscious perceiving. See? So skills, techniques. You know, I was doing initiations. You know, people sitting down. No, we're going to sit here. We're going to practice meditation. Oh well, you know, and the other elays they don't do this. Well, then you should have gone to the other elays, because I told you from the beginning. You know, we're here to do the work. This not about pretty. You know, and if you want festivities and you know you want to be somehow elated, you know, then fine. You know, not everybody eats the same kind of food. But if we don't put in the work, then why are we calling it isheshe? Which basically boils down to doing the work as a definition. So I just wanted to share that and you know, drop a few points that we who are involved in African spirituality and the experiences and the insights begin to focus on areas that we're interested in. Okay. Like Baba Risha Bamia, they're interested in the, you know, the Kemetic and Pyramid. I'm not as moved by that as he is. I'm moved by what I share with you, but that doesn't mean that he's obviously not into Ifa Isheshe, he's a Babalao. And it doesn't mean that I'm not into Kemetic studies, because I have studied it. But you see, all of this one size fits all kind of thing. And if it's not done this way, then it's not done right. That's real Western. It's really, really Western. And if we think that everybody in our empires was doing the same thing at the same time, running around making 500 elbows every time somebody looked at them funny in the face or whatever, then it's like, well, this is what we did. You know nothing about what we did, okay? Because we're unstudied and we're just riding on the winds of educational paternalism and religious paternalism, all based on missionaries more so than serious scientists, regardless of their backgrounds or persuasions. Okay, so in closing, you know, we can have different people who are in different positions. Not every doctor is a brain surgeon. No, not every physician, okay, is a cardiologist. You understand? But they're all doctors, and they all respect each other as such. But see, we have to fall out of this one size fits all. So if Eo Shuniyi comes in and she wants to study a certain aspect of it, and she majors in that, okay, working with women who are distressed, and she brings her Oshun into that, and going into these shelters, she brings Oshun, and the shelter that she builds becomes her Ile, then that's spirituality. You understand? That's spirituality. Everybody will find where they shine. There's more than one star in the vastness. Okay. So let's have a revolution up in here. Okay. Let's evolve Ifa Isheshe. Okay. I'm the philosopher. Plain and simple. All that ritualistic stuff. I'm like, if you're not getting life out of this, then just enjoy the party. Okay. Enjoy the party. But understand that initiation does not equate to spiritualization. And from what I'm gathering full circle, it doesn't even equate to knowledge, much less wisdom. Okay. I share, brother.
I say, oh, yeah, man. Tribe, it, man. They're going in. Listen, y'all gonna have to forgive me, Tribe, because I can't keep up with y'all, man. There's so many in there that I can't keep up. But I love it. It's all love, light, and just straight, tribing it up with the, fellow tribe and nation members, man. So I love it. I'm always here for it, just like I'm here for you, Baba. When you get turned up and when you're feeling dangerous, man, you ready? You ready to go in? I'm here for it all day, every day. All day, every day. Look, I gotta find that Farrakhan face meme where he's standing in the audience looking. I don't know what he was looking at, but he had this look on his face like he loved what he was watching. I don't know what it was, but I love that meme. And he was like, "That's how I be when you be turning up, boy." I be like, "Yeah, get him, Baba, get him." Yes, sir. But
Oh, no,
man,
it
look,
wouldn't be, my brother. This is the authentic me. You
look,
understand?
look, and the tribe loving it too. And shout out to like I said, my boy, my brother, Oak Woods, man. Me and him had a real good conversation earlier before we came on the live, and that's one of the main things that he was talking about is the appreciation for the raw authenticity. Like he was like, bro, like that's because we know each other personally. So he was like, the fact that you have a platform or a podcast that what I'm saying is growing and it's going in the right direction. He's like, but you still staying true to you, like you still being who the same brother who I met. Shoot, I think me and him might have met back in like 14, 15. I can't even remember, but it's been probably about a good 10 plus years. But and I was just sharing with him, it's like, man, I really don't know it to be any other way. I mean, that runs, that's bigger than me. Like, that's in my blood, from my grandparents to my parents, like, and all those who I come from, literally from a spiritual and from a physical, what I'm saying, blood DNA. Like, they raw, they real. And but I love them, and I wouldn't trade any of them for anybody else in the world because I wouldn't be here sitting here as the same person that I am, if anything changed. So I wouldn't change anything about who I come from and where I am and where I be. But but I feel like that's something that you and I have spoke about off air, especially when we're having our business talks in regards to like business, like handling business. And I've shared with you several times that the business coaches, the business communities, the business investments that I made within, investing in myself and investing in knowledge and investing in training and investing in learning new skills and new aspects of business, especially marketing and advertising and promoting, like all those people who I've invested a pretty penny with, the main deciding factor for me, even though they had great content and great, I feel like knowledge on the topics of whatever the subject matter was that I wanted to enroll with them or hire them for, or to invest in their services for, what made me hit the purchase button was the fact that they had skills, they had knowledge, they had wisdom, they were experts in their respective fields, but they were all real. They were all raw. You know what I'm saying? They was truly unapologetically them. And their personalities are different. You know what I'm saying? Like if you saw what they look like, and I don't know, maybe one day we might work together. I'm not sure, but some people would probably look at them and judge them based off how they look. But I'm like, I don't give a damn about how they look. I'm looking at how they teach. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at the receipts they showing me with the coins they bringing in every week or every month or every year. Like that's what matters to me. That's what's moving the needle. You know what I'm saying? Because they might not look like quote unquote the type of person who I don't even know what people think I look like, nor do I care. But they might not like the type of people who somebody might assume that I would vibe with or not. But to me, I don't discriminate. You know what I mean? Like I know what value is. At least I got a good idea of what it is, and I don't mind investing in value. So it's like, what was the main, I feel like this, like the main thing that made me decide to go forward was the fact that those people were truly authentic. They were, how do you say the word? Is it any? That's what I'm striving to be. And I feel like each person that I've worked with in regards to them teaching me in regards to business and how to do good business, or how to elevate or scale or move to the next level in business, I feel like they have the same kind of desire that I have to do good business with being NEINGD. And that's why I cherish the relationships I have with you and all the other elders who have, been so gracious to take me under your wings, is because I take this serious. Like, I don't play about this. I don't play about nothing that I do, and it's like I'm never going to invest in or pay for someone to teach me or train me if I don't feel like they have that same level of, conviction and dedication and passion, and when they do what they do. Because I need somebody that I feel like I know they know their ish, they know their shit, and also, but they doing it to a point where I'm like, yeah, that I can see where, I need to get to that level. So it's like, that's where I feel like we're blessed here at Ashe, is to be able to have access to a whole, I mean, everybody pretty much that's been on here, I feel like falls under that umbrella in regards to just being true, raw, real, and not like, you know what I'm saying? Not like on no BS or what have you. So with that, in fact, the comments is coming in hard, man. It's hard to keep up. I'm gonna share this one. But T said she feels the same concerns, in regards to you, Baba. And that's why I always give thanks. But I definitely I appreciate all the love, the support, just everybody even stopping in today. Like it was a last minute live that we kind of put together because of the schedules. But I think I might run it back tomorrow, man, because they said they want to go deeper into the metaphysics and the extraterrestrial and the ancient civilizations talk. So between now and tomorrow, I think I'll definitely be able to whip together a good presentation for the family, man, and maybe jump on another one after we do the OGC class tomorrow, bye. So with that, I gotta get ready to jump off to get some more work done. But Baba, did you have anything else you want to share with the tribe? And first and foremost, I want to give thanks again for all that you do and all that you bring to the channel, man. I know I tell you all the time, but I want to make sure I do it consistently, because that's how I feel, and I want to also give it because I feel like the tribe feels the same as that way. So kudos, Mudupwe, and huge thanks to you and for all that you do, all that you have been doing, not just for myself, but for the tribe, and as well as all of the nation, that you've been working with off there as well, because people don't know. I think some people might think it's just this that you do, but you do a whole lot more than that. You still teaching in the classrooms. You still, looking over, a lot of different devotees. Some of us have been blessed to be, priests and priestesses and awos and babalawos, yanifas, and you still coaching and kind of like herding all of us, guiding all of us, and pouring in that wisdom, pouring in that power, that strength, that raw authenticity. So I want to just give you your flowers myself personally again, to thank you for all that you've done for my journey and for all that you've done for our entire tribe and for the whole Carriday Nation, as well as the OGC Institute, man. And I'm telling you, it inspires me. You inspire me. You motivate me, and it's cool to see elders who are at the phase in your life that you are in, but y'all still killing it. Like you, Baba Tolu, Baba Small, Professor Kaba. Like, if I'm not mistaken, all y'all in your 70s, And I'm telling you, there's brothers I know at my age that ain't even doing half of what y'all doing. Like none of y'all. This is like, God damn. I done told you several times how, like, when I talk to you and you rowing the boat, or you in nature, or you beating the drums, or you doing pull-ups, or like whatever you do, I'm like, man, I gotta tighten up. Well, I can't let Baba be running laps around me like that, man. But it's all positive. It's positive competition. You know what I'm saying? You bring out the best, man. So I love it.
Motivational, brother. Motivational.
Yes, sir.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
But I'm just speaking of that term, again, not being, pastoral or looking for the sheep and trying to be, the shepherd, and all of these kind of ways that we've been hammered into what is and what is not religion, and then in the core of our spirit being diminished by religious practice. That's a powerful concern, especially for people who have been uh, misled, okay, uh, misconceived, okay, and 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 just misdirected. And then again, I'm saying this from a point of study and of a point of years of insightfulness, you know, and somebody has to say something, and then that somebody is me, and then we become, the voice. We all become the voice of change, okay? The voice of redirecting our energies to the God self, to the God self, and truly come to understand, not believe, but come to understand that such is our birthright, such is the destiny bestowed upon us when we are brought into this physical plane, regardless of what else is going on. We know what our destiny is. Regardless of the hurdles, we strive to overcome those hurdles, okay? Because destiny calls. Destiny calls. So if you're here and you're listening intently, and you're feeling deeply what is being shared here, then I would say welcome, Ekabo, because this is where your destiny is leading you. To learn, to grow, to evolve, to transcend, to ascend. Because you know that there's more to Ifa and Isheshe than getting a reading, knowing who your Orisha is, and being rushed into initiation. You know that there's more to it. You know it. And until now, you haven't been able to find it. Until now, until today. So again, I say, welcome. Ekabo. Okay. Welcome. Ashe.
You're welcome. You're all welcome. Enjoy. I don't know what movie that was from, but it was a good movie. That was a funny part. You're welcome. You're all welcome. Enjoy. I can't remember what movie it was, but real quick before we get out of here, Baba, I got a couple more questions from the tribe that I want to
All right,
throw
brother.
out
Real
there.
quick.
Yeah, one is from Nkosi in regards to tomorrow's class. I'm trying to find it because the comments are coming in. He wanted to know in regards to tomorrow.
Yes.
It was gonna be
Global perspectives and more.
gotcha. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, and then Kosi, for you and everybody else that's in the institute, the link is the same, so it'll be the same link that was from last week. I can also reshare it in the Notion homepage. It should be in there though. Actually, I know it's in there, but I can put I kind of put a like refresh new updated post in there with the link as well, just in case if anybody might get confused or might not see it. And I'll probably look into sending an email out as well to kind of give everybody a heads up. I got you, Nkosi. So yeah, no, I appreciate it. Family T, Sha, and Kosi, the whole tribe, everybody was going in. Definitely appreciate the love and support Oshuni, and everybody else who came through tonight, man. We definitely appreciate y'all. I think I saw some new names. Shout out to Annette Mays. Let me see. There's a few other new ones, Annette Mays and a few others. I can't find them. But anyway, we appreciate you all, family, and I'll definitely be getting the links and the updates to the G-State Institute members, and I'll definitely look into that for you tomorrow as well in Kosi. But shout out to everybody. Shout out to you, bye-bye. Shout out to everybody for the love and support. And yeah, we'll definitely see y'all again tomorrow, family. I'll probably look to do maybe 8:30. 8:39. Either way, whichever time I'll post it, because we got the Institute call tomorrow, so I have to make sure I'm there for that. But once we wrap that up, I'll be ready to dive in for another live stream, man, to get into the metaphysics and the extraterrestrial files, the ET files. And I'm looking forward to that. Something I've been saying I was going to do for a while, but now I got to get the job done. And for those who are definitely deep into that space, shout out to Dr. Delbert Blair, who's an ancestor now, but this is one of his pieces of work. It's called The World Within. And it also touches on a lot of the stuff that we were chatting up about in the chat today about the inner earth, a lot of the different star systems, a lot of the different beings, a lot of different extraterrestrial species, a lot. He dropped some heat, and I saw a few people in there saying that Dr. Blair was their man. So y'all already know what it is with Dr. Blair. So shout out to Dr. Blair. Shout out to Tony and the Meta Center, Tony Vortex, for holding it down for Dr. Blair and continuing on his legacy with his phenomenal body of work that Dr. Blair has laid down, and Tony picking up the torch and doing a damn good job for, holding it down for the legacy of Dr. Blair. So with that, family, I challenge all of our tribe members, for all of us collectively to learn, to study, to research, to do the work, so we can all collectively, hold down the legacies of all of the distinguished elders that we have been so graciously blessed with, to come and share the stage on the Ashe channel, platform, community, etc. Man, we definitely appreciate each and every one of y'all. And I feel like at the end of the day, Baba, it's like, to quote my boy Cuss, our job is not to be the champions of the world, but to train our tribe to be the champions of the world and independent of us. And so I'll leave us on that note, family, because it's not just about me. It's not just about Baba. It never has been, never will be. It's about the we. And united we stand, divided we fall. So each one teach one. And we going to make it do what it do, babe. We going to make it do what it do. So, all right, family, we appreciate you all. So if y'all can, please share, like, subscribe, comment. And also, we'll see y'all again tomorrow. Tomorrow night, I'll definitely be posting the link for tomorrow's show so we can get this thing in, man. Shout out to UT. I appreciate you and all the positive vibes, man, and everything that everybody shared tonight, all the love and support. And shout out to everybody who was in Jacksonville this weekend. Much love and support, family. We out. We'll see y'all on the next episode. Peace. Udabo.
ẹni tó gbàgbé ilé sàpò ìyàpọ̀ tẹ́ǹtì ẹni takísà ní tàtàn ò bá padà sílé anítìjàkọ ẹja lọ pé eégún mo sí ẹni gbẹ́rẹ́ yìí pàkọ́ forsake not your ancestors and praise your.